Have you ever looked at a doll and found it staring back at you? I know it sounds absurd. Dolls are toys, gifts given to children, symbols of innocence, of tender childhood memories. But there's something we often forget. Dolls are made to imitate people. They have eyes, they have mouths, they have expressions, they have clothes, and sometimes there's something inside them that shouldn't be there. I'm not talking about movies or cheap scares. I'm talking about things that actually happened, recorded incidents, people who lived them and told the stories. Dolls that people believed were haunted. They're not just old decorations gathering dust on a shelf. They whisper in the middle of the night, move when no one's looking, appear where they shouldn't be, and sometimes they carry deadly curses. In many ancient cultures, dolls were more than just toys. They were used in ritual, in witchcraft, in communication with the dead. The Japanese had okiku dolls whose hair grew with each moon. The Mexicans had dolls hung all over the island, each one a warning. The Europeans had dolls used to trap spirits. And of course, in America, where horror stories have always thrived, we have the eyewitness accounts, the videos, and the unexplained nightmares. If you've ever thought dolls were just old toys, you might be right. But if you've ever felt something wrong with an old doll, if you've ever heard small footsteps on a wooden floor in the middle of the night, if you've ever seen a glassy following you in an empty room, then you've probably encountered something that shouldn't be in this world. These are not fairy tales. These are true stories, and you're about to enter their world. If you've ever wandered the humid streets of Key West, Florida, you've probably heard whispers about the old East Martello Museum, the place where Robert the doll resides. But what most tourists don't realize is Robert isn't just a dusty relic trapped behind glass. He's something much darker, and the story of how he became that way still chills my bones. Robert belonged to a young boy named Eugene Otto Back in the early 1900s. The doll itself was never meant to be a toy. It was crafted as a mannequin for a window display, sewn from coarse fabric with button eyes and a permanent, vacant grin stitched across its face. But Eugene loved Robert. He dressed him, talked to him, and carried him everywhere. At first, it seemed harmless, the lonely child's attachment to an inanimate friend. Until the night Eugene's parents were woken by the sound of furniture being thrown across the room. When they burst into Eugene's bedroom, they found the boy huddled in the corner, wide-eyed, whispering over and over. Robert did it. From that night on, things got worse. Neighbors claimed they saw the doll moving from window to window when no one was home. Guests heard giggles echoing down the empty hallways. And every time something bad happened, Eugene's voice would tremble with fear as he pointed to the doll and said, "Robert's angry." Decades later, after Eugene's death, the doll was donated to the museum. But visitors still report strange occurrences. Cameras malfunctioning, batteries draining instantly, cold spots hovering near the display case. There's even a wall covered with apology letters from people who mocked Robert, only to face horrifying accidents soon after. You've probably seen the movies, the porcelain-faced Annabelle with her braided hair and cracked smile. But the real Annabelle is nothing like that. She's far worse because she's so ordinary. In the War and Occult Museum, tucked away in a glass case, sits a simple Raggedy Ann doll. Red yarn hair, stitched smile, soft fabric body. But according to Ed and Lorraine Warren, famed paranormal investigators, this doll is anything but harmless. In the early 1970s, Annabelle was given to a nursing student named Donna. Harmless enough at first, until Donna and her roommate began to notice Annabelle shifting positions when no one was home. Small things at first, a change in posture, a turn of the head. Then the notes started appearing. Crumpled pieces of parchment scrawled with childlike handwriting. "Help me. Save us." One night, Donna returned home to find Annabelle slumped in a chair, her hands stained with what looked like blood. The Warrens claimed that a malevolent, inhuman spirit had attached itself to the doll. Not a ghost of a child, as Donna first believed, but something ancient and dangerous, using the doll as a conduit. Annabelle now sits sealed away, blessed regularly to keep whatever is attached to her trapped. But visitors say they still hear tapping on the glass, whispers in the empty room. Some even claim to feel the weight of her eyes following them home. Of course, not every haunted doll has a museum exhibit or a movie franchise. Some sit quietly on dusty shelves in attics. Or worse, still lie forgotten in thrift shops and abandoned houses, waiting for the next unlucky soul to bring them home. One such story comes from a woman named Claire, who purchased an antique porcelain doll from a flea market in Tennessee. The vendor said it had belonged to an elderly woman who lived alone her entire life. Claire thought it was charming until she started hearing footsteps in the hallway at night, always soft, almost childlike. One night, after weeks of sleepless nights, Claire got up and found the doll sitting at the foot of her bed. It wasn't where she had left it. The next day, Claire donated the doll to a local museum without looking back. But visitors say they sometimes hear faint tapping on the display case. Others swear they've seen the doll's eyes move when no one's watching. Now, after hearing the chilling stories of Robert, Annabelle, and other haunted dolls, you might be wondering, is there an explanation for all these strange occurrences? It's a question that many people, from scientists to psychologists, have been asking for decades. Let's start with the simple one. Humans have a strange emotional connection to inanimate objects, especially dolls. From a young age, we're raised with human-shaped toys. Tiny faces, ready-made smiles, and big eyes, all designed to evoke empathy, love, and sometimes fear. Psychologists call this phenomenon the uncanny valley effect, the creepy feeling we get when we see something that looks almost human, but not quite. Old dolls, with their cracked paint and dead eyes, are a prime example. Our brains sense that something is wrong, and that unease can easily be amplified into feelings of being watched or haunted. But why do hundreds, even thousands, of people claim to have witnessed supernatural phenomena involving dolls? Part of it is the suggestion effect. When you walk into a room and someone tells you, "Watch out, that doll has been moving around at night," your brain immediately starts looking for evidence. A small sound, a shadow, or even a chill. All of it can be interpreted by your brain as it's moving. Studies have also shown that when you believe an object can cause harm, the fear itself can produce real physical reactions. Increased heart rate, difficulty breathing, disturbed sleep, even mild hallucinations. You are the victim of a nightmare your mind creates. However, there are stories that go beyond psychology. Some researchers believe that some kind of energy can cling to objects like dolls, especially when they're near places of tragedy or are owned by people experiencing pain, anger, or despair. There is a theory that inanimate objects can record emotional energy, much like a tape recorder stores sound. When someone enters that space with a sensitive mind, they can play back the negative energy in the form of strange dreams, whispers in the night, or the feeling of being watched. Additionally, environmental factors such as unusual magnetic fields, humid climates, and electromagnetic interference can also affect people's perceptions, making creepy experiences feel more real than ever. While haunted doll stories from the past like Robert and Annabelle have left a deep mark on human culture and psychology, the modern world is not short of new strange events. With the explosion of social media and technology, stories about haunted dolls have become more accessible than ever. Videos, photos, and live streams of spooky doll investigations have become a fascinating topic, not only for those who love the paranormal, but also for those who do not believe in the supernatural world. From Reddit posts to Facebook to YouTube videos, a series of new stories about haunted dolls have emerged and quickly attracted attention. One of the most prominent recent stories is about the Letta doll, which is said to have the ability to cause strange events for its owner. While not everyone believes in Letta's supernatural powers, those who have owned the doll have claimed that unexplainable incidents have occurred in their homes, from moving objects to strange noises in the middle of the night. In addition to Letta, there are many videos recounting terrifying experiences with old dolls, with a person filming claims that the doll moves on its own, changes position during the night, or even makes a voice. These videos, while their authenticity may be questionable, are still the perfect example of the paranormal. That's why they're always a hot topic of discussion on forums and Facebook groups, where supernatural believers exchange and share their bizarre stories. The rise of paranormal investigations into haunted dolls has also contributed to the resurgence of belief in these stories. There is no shortage of paranormal investigation groups and horror YouTubers looking for evidence of haunted dolls. Experiments conducted in abandoned houses, nighttime investigations with modern recording devices and digital cameras have brought paranormal evidence to the online community. Some of the most prominent investigations are from the group Ghost Adventures, where they spend time filming and documenting strange phenomena occurring in the Museum of Ed and Lorraine Warren. One of the most famous videos recorded Annabelle moving gently on the shelves when no one was looking, a scene that left even the most skeptical people wondering. Despite the many mysterious stories and investigations taking place, there is still much doubt surrounding the authenticity of these events. Scientists and psychologists believe that such phenomena may simply be due to psychological effects or placebo effects, where people believe that strange things happen because of their own expectations. Psychological studies also show that when a person believes that an object has supernatural powers, this expectation can create a sense of paranormal phenomena that are not real. However, there are people who still firmly defend the belief in haunted dolls, claiming that negative energy from past stories can be retained in objects such as dolls, and when people come into contact with them, this energy will be released, creating strange phenomena. Looking back, haunted dolls are not just scary stories, but cultural mysteries that have been built up over the centuries. We cannot deny the fascination and strangeness that these objects bring. Stories about dolls like Robert, Annabelle, and many others have become an indispensable part of folklore and urban legends. They have penetrated our subconscious, not only because they're scary, but also because they evoke a larger question about the world that we do not fully understand. Despite many skeptics, stories about haunted dolls continue to thrive in popular culture. They are recreated in movies, comics, and even video games, always bringing a creepy atmosphere and making people unable to look away. From Chucky in famous horror series to dolls in modern horror movies, haunted dolls always retain a strange appeal. And this seems to prove that humans will never stop being curious about supernatural phenomena and things that cannot be explained. Whether we want to believe it or not, one thing is undeniable. Haunted dolls always stimulate curiosity and fear. The question that we still cannot answer is, do these dolls really contain supernatural powers, or are they just products of the imagination? Maybe they're old objects carrying stories and memories of their previous owners, or maybe they are real phenomena related to forces that we do not fully understand. One thing is for sure, their existence always makes us wonder about life and death, about what might be around us that we cannot see. What about you? Do you believe in haunted dolls? Have you ever had strange experiences with dolls or other objects that you cannot explain? Share your stories with us in the comments section below this video. Are haunted dolls really cursed or just a myth? You could be the next person to solve this mystery. We would love to hear what you think. Feel free to share your experiences with supernatural phenomena or strange stories you have experienced. Let's explore the dark corners of the world and expand our understanding of the unexplained. Like and share this video if you enjoy it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any scary stories in the future. See you in the next videos, and always remember, the things you can't see are sometimes the scariest.